Thanks everyone for joining us today, and thank you, Matthew, for speaking. As I mentioned, it's great to have you. So Matthew Kinch is a digital specialist with videoBIO, specializing in talent and recruiter experience in the digital recruitment process. With over 10 years of experience working with organizations and professionals to better present themselves in the digital age, Matthew brings 360-degree perspective to the modern video application and assessment. At videoBIO, Matthew focuses on educating and onboarding hiring teams in their use of digital screening and interviewing technology. With a background in media development, Matthew is focused on the future of recruitment technology and how job seekers and recruiters can leverage video in their process as the global employment market shifts to a digital-first approach to hiring. Thanks again for your presentation today, and good luck.
Thank you, Alex. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks so much for joining the session today. I am Matthew. As Alex mentioned, I'm a digital specialist at videoBIO Recruiter. I work with clients to help them maximize their use of video interviewing technology in their workflow. And in this session, the goal here is to give you an overview of the trends that are driving digital interviewing and the actual advances in technology that are making digital video interviewing a great solution for recruiting teams. So there are 4 trends that we've identified as shifts in the last 2 years that are impacting how employers are recruiting. The first trend relates to what is happening at the application stage. So employers have identified that the resume and traditional resume-based application methods are just not providing enough information about candidates at the first stage. So they're really expanding the data that they're collecting by broadening the lens and incorporating what we call soft skill video questions and fit questionnaires into the first stage application. This is giving them more data to work with and by and large improves their screening efficiency by combining 2 stages into one. Trend number 2 is all about diversity. So employers are really diversifying their workforce, and this is starting with their hiring practices. Employers have identified that unconscious bias can, of course, exist in their selection process. So they really want to standardize the talent measurement with structured decision making. They're also utilizing new features to reduce the possibility of screening out great candidates at the first stage. So this includes blind interviewing, new accessibility features, and a broader set of soft skill questions that allow a candidate to really tell a broader story about themselves without the traditional constraints of your traditional resume. So trend 3 relates to COVID. Naturally, I mean, it's what everyone's talking about nowadays, and COVID has really forced everyone to use video interviewing in new ways in their process. So this includes both live video interviews and one-way interview questionnaires. In addition, employers are using automated and semi-automated interview formats that improve their efficiency and actually provide a digital method to share and collaborate with the hiring team and talent selection, which improves diversity selection, and it really does allow for more transparency and a digital record as well in talent evaluation. So the 4th trend is that employers are assessing candidates increasingly based on competencies, not just soft skills and experience. This particularly occurs at the first stage, as I'd mentioned previously. COVID has really changed the soft skills that employees are seeking right nowadays with an increasing remote and globalized workforce. And this is just really changing the questions that employers are asking and the assessments that they're using in the hiring process to learn more about what candidates offer as it actually relates to our quote unquote new normal. So the World Economic Forum released a skills survey late in 2020, which identified the top 10 skills that employers were seeking worldwide into 2025. And you'll notice here that the competencies cited are problem solving, self-management, working with people, and the use of technology, amongst some others here. With remote workforces, employers really want to know that candidates can be self-managed, trustworthy, able to collaborate with teams effectively, even when they're working remotely. This is super important. And also to be fully adaptive, resilient, and a problem solver at the end of the day. These competencies are some of the most popular in the questions that we see being used in traditional hiring workflows. So what is a video interview, and what are the different ways that this technology is actually being used by employers to interview and evaluate candidates? So most of us have probably experienced a live video interview at least once, but some people are still kind of learning about the one-way interview. Well, employers are using video interviewing systems to be able to actually invite candidates to video screen, assessment, or even an interview at one or more stages of their process. So video interviews can be responded to from your mobile device or computer and can be accessed directly for recording online. So we're trying to keep it really flexible and really functional. Employers are using digital video interviews in various ways across the hiring workflow. I'd mentioned this a little bit earlier, but as you can see here, what we're seeing more commonly as a process in the video application is augmenting the resume screen, video screening, or even the assessment at the second stage, and moving to a live video interview in the later stages. We're seeing a lot more group interviews that are being used with multiple candidates or even multiple interviewers, like a panel interview style. So employers are actually using these live video interviews for case presentations and live testing, in fact. So there's really a lot of functionality there. Just to expand on the workflow question, which is one that we get asked quite frequently in pre-COVID times, this is what you would see as the most common interview workflow by stage, which would start with a resume screen and then move to a phone screen. So post-COVID, we're actually now seeing fully digitized workflows where video interviews are being used at absolutely every step. This is providing the additional benefit of having a shareable, easily archived digital record of a candidate interview by stage and all of the ratings that come along with that and that are associated with each interview step. So you'll notice the Oneway, what we call an asynchronous interview, is being used at the first, second, and the third stage as well in many different ways. So at the first stage, it's being used as an embedded video questionnaire. At the second stage, as a video questionnaire that gets delivered directly to candidates by email after they're shortlisted, perhaps. And at the third stage, it's mainly being used as a behavioral video assessment. So live video interviews are really being used at all stages, just depending on the employer's actual workflow. So with this increase in technology and this shift to more competency-based hiring and assessing more for soft skills and fit, employers are also incorporating video practice modules as part of their interview workflow for candidates, which really gives them the opportunity to practice answering competency-based questions before they actually start their interview. So candidates really, what we found is candidates really need to improve their ability to speak about their strengths and the competencies that show off their potential, their attitude, their ability to reason, their judgment, and their collaboration skill, among a whole host of other competencies. So this practice feature is also increasingly being used in talent communities, and these actual questionnaire templates are also made available in our platform for selection and use in the interviewing workflow. So interviews are now really being evaluated by machine algorithms that are trained to look for this competency-based language that I've talked so much about. It's basically using a natural language assessment and using a practice module. Candidates can get feedback on their interview responses and how they actually fared based on their competency score. So really this AI assessment feature that is actually available for use in competency-based questionnaires for recruiters, it really provides additional data in the talent selection process as a data assist tool in a semi-automated workflow. So these algorithms, they may be used at any stage of employer screening to support the recruiter with data-assisted decision-making. This AI feature can really be used at any stage, though, of the interview workflow and can truly assess all data, including resume, text, video response transcripts, for the relevancy as it relates to the match of the job requirements, skills, experience, and even the soft skill competencies that are required. Our actual algorithm uses no visual data in terms of training of the assessments of interviews. The algorithm really only assesses the text transcript from the video interview. So on the right, you're going to see some examples of the competencies that can be assessed. So we make available pre-built selectable questionnaire templates on competencies that can be used across jobs at the assessment stages. One of the most popular questionnaires being increasingly adopted for use is the diversity mindset questionnaire. This can be used on all employees in the workforce and in the hiring process to assess their mindset and attitudes on diversity. So why don't we go ahead and shift gears a little bit, and we'll get into the recruiter experience when they're actually creating interviews. Really like to show this off right now. So when recruiters are creating video questionnaires, there are a series of selectable features that can be chosen to provide that ability to really customize the candidate experience and also the data that they're collecting. So this includes things like practice modules, the ability to actually preview questions, turning AI on or off, and access to other features like the ability to perhaps upload a video response instead of directly recording in for the candidate. Candidates can be given the ability to even enter self-describing keywords, which is great. And this is one of the features that we just provide to these companies in terms of profile preview. So to make the interview even more accessible, recruiters can allow for audio-only responses. So this, once again, just really ensures that accessibility and that functionality. So moving on, recruiters can use scorecards to standardize their evaluation and actually use a common scoring method across a collaborative team review. So it adds that kind of defensibility. But this scorecard can also be used alongside semi-automated AI results and as an additional measurement tool. So this is really, really important for structured interviewing and transparency, as I mentioned, as well as defensibility in terms of decision making and selection. So as a recruiter, when you're creating the questionnaire, you can select a template, which is really convenient, or you can actually build a questionnaire from scratch, which can include video questions, text questions, even multiple choice questions to really add that functionality and flexibility for these. You can really determine how many questions you want, as well as the length of response, the format of the question, and even the number of recording attempts that a candidate has. So it's all customizable from the get-go. So when you get down to it and you're reviewing interviews, there are a lot of control mechanisms that you can use to blind your interview responses and use scorecard and AI results to have that highly defensible and incredibly transparent talent measurement approach. So this really includes the ability to hide absolutely all visualization of an interview, including thumbnails and any personally identifiable information like names, anything that can contribute to any bias in the decision making. That's the goal here. So what we're looking at right now is a candidate review dashboard, and you're going to notice that candidate profiles can include video responses, they can include resumes, they can even include fit assessments all in one package. So really this provides a truly much more holistic view of a candidate beyond the resume, and it really allows recruiters to have that kind of all-in-one, that one-step review, that shareable profile for that truly collaborative decision making. So similarly, a profile can be entirely blinded, where audio-only responses are presented and no thumbnails are available, as we mentioned a little earlier. And that's what this visual is kind of giving you a visualization for. So as we all know, creating a seamless and truly comfortable candidate experience is the most important aspect when introducing new technology and when actually using video interviewing. So let's take a minute to watch this short video that will show you how easy the one-way interview process is for a candidate with no uploads, downloads, and mobile accessibility. It's gonna pause for 1 second to share my other screen. So what we're looking right now is a candidate invitation. Candidates can receive the invitation and open it within their cell phone or tablet or desktop. They're going to enter in their email before moving along. There's going to be a little bit of information. They can view the questions, they can view the company profile, get prepared to actually start their response, and then click start the response. So the next step is they receive this video tutorial. They're going to review that, and then they're going to provide access to their camera. Then they're going to do a quick recording test. Now, this is a great tool just to make sure candidates are presenting correctly, making sure that the candidate presents the way they'd like to, that their audio and video is functioning as it should. So then after that, they're going to step through the process They're going to see the question, they're going to see what question they're on, how long they have for this particular question, and how many recording attempts they have. The candidate will utilize as many recording attempts as they're provided or are required, and they will step into the next question. It's as easy as that. As you're seeing, this is all taking place on a mobile dash, so it's fully accessible. The candidate will complete their response and submit. They will also then be given an opportunity to provide some feedback. So this is a great way to kind of learn a little bit more about how the candidate experience is functioning for your candidates. So we really think this is really useful for the candidate experience. I'm going to switch back to my presentation. One moment. Okay, and moving along. So let's take a moment to watch one more video, and this is of the candidate review experience from the actual recruiter perspective. So we just walked through the candidate experience. Let's have a look at the recruiter experience. So what you're hearing right here is the reviewer dashboard. So they have the ability to put in comments. They have the ability to easily rate their candidates as they step through. And you can see here, this is the dashboard, and this is how it presents for recruiters. They can see their candidates in the video interview response window. They can sort by scorecard percentage or AI average, and then they can select and shortlist top performing candidates to move into perhaps a live video interview. They can easily create that shortlist. And as I mentioned, another functionality here is that defensibility in terms of bias reduction. So you can hide those thumbnails, and then you could simply sort by scorecard and AI average to avoid any visual references to candidates. So let's actually click into a candidate. So here we have Sarah, who's a great high performing candidate. We can click into her profile, and we can actually go into a bit of a granular level of moderation here in terms of reviewing and rating this candidate. You can easily share out candidate responses, which is great. And then you can review the summary of their scorecard, both the team-based scorecard as well as the AI scorecard. So this just provides a lot of information that a recruiter can utilize from a top level just to really drill down and really understand how candidates are performing. So yeah, that's basically what recruiters get. So they can easily schedule a live interview. Once they're confident that they've found their perfect candidates, they can simply invite them to a live interview. Their candidates are going to receive an email directly into their inbox, letting them know they've been invited to a live video interview. And from there, they step into that experience. So I will stop this video and step back into our deck. One moment. So as you saw in the video, the candidate response page features all of the data in one place that really allows you to assess, comment, rate, and share all in one place. Team members are really going to be providing comments and rating, and those are going to be averaged out and included on the profile dynamically as they're submitted. So what this really does is provides a fully defensible digital record of a candidate's scoring. So recruiter team members who are reviewing and reviewing the candidates, they can also be controlled for managed viewing and rating. So in summary, fairness, transparency, and structured and standardized talent scoring is increasingly important in talent review and selection. And this review process is going to be made a lot easier with the benefit of new technology and a shareable candidate profile, where candidates can actually benefit from a wider assessment panel and a data-assisted process where subjectivity and unconscious bias can be reduced. So thank you so much for joining the session today. I hope this has given all of you a much deeper dive into new video technology and just a deeper look in terms of the processes that are being used in the hiring workflow. And if you have any questions about videoBIO Recruiter, please get in touch with me at matthew@videobio.com or visit our website at videobiorecruiter.com. Thank you so much.